skies, we keep on searching, but we will never know what we're after. Book a plane, fly away. We will never be the same. And as long as you are mine, come on and run away. We wanna run away. We don't need any reasons, baby. Leave it all for the faded hearts. I don't mind if they call us crazy, 'cause they don't understand what we're after. We're never heading back until we're older. We couldn't care no more, not any longer. Under peach yellow skies, we keep on searching, but we will never know what we're after.
Das gute Gefühl, wenn du bereit bist. Schon bereit, immer noch bereit. Bereit. Bereit aufzustehen. Den Mut zusammenzunehmen und
Fest daran zu glauben.
weil heute ist dein Tag.
Mein erster Schultag.
Bereit, sich zu beweisen.
Ich kann das.
Bereit für den nächsten Schritt. Für neue Projekte und die Möglichkeiten der vernetzten Welt.
Darum reden wir mit unseren Kunden nicht einfach über Technik, sondern sagen ihnen, was sie davon haben.
Darum sind wir da oben,
Auch in einem Bergdörfli?
mitten drinnen und auch da unten. Damit die Schweiz bereit ist. Damit Sie bereit sind. Bereit fürs Leben.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
La sensation d'être prêt. Déjà prêt, toujours prêt. Prêt? Prêt à se lever, à prendre son courage à deux mains et...
Croire dur comme fer.
Aujourd'hui, c'est ton jour.
Mon premier jour d'école.
Prêt à relever le défi.
Ça, j'arrive.
Prêt pour la prochaine étape. Pour de nouveaux projets et pour les possibilités d'un monde connecté.
C'est pour ça qu'avec nos clients, on ne parle pas que de technique. On leur dit aussi ce qu'elle leur apporte.
Parce que nous sommes là-haut,
Jusqu'aux villages les plus reculés.
à tous les niveaux et tout en bas. Pour que la Suisse soit prête. Pour que vous soyez prêts. Prêts pour la vie.
came for the darkest regions, wrapped in a cloak of light. Minus the focus heights, I'm trying to get my opens right. Throw my doubts aside, I climb the mountainside. And when I reach the peak, the view I see will help me fly. Feel the pressure, but it's relative to the man I measured. No time for hesitation, finally time to step up. And when you're feeling deep in your bones and it's on your fed up, you're close to the glass ceiling, keep your head up. See your dreams as a goal, that's how I'm seeing mine. Achieve my full potential, let all of the demons pre my shine.
You ready? Huh? Hey, he's a good boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and of course everyone in between or outside. We welcome you back to yet another season of, finally, League of Legends here in the Swisscom Heroleague, powered by ESL. And you might think, who's that guy next to this handsome man here from the Romandy? That's me, Stonner Goni. But of course, the one and only Strawberry Pie here will be joining me tonight for some great League of Legends action. Hi there, how are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm absolutely pleased to be part of it again. So I can't wait to see the two teams today fighting each other for the next step, which is going to be the semi-finals.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you guys who might have been following the German stream in the past, you might have not seen him before. Strawberry Pie is, of course, a very passionate and super talented caster. He was actually the host for the French-speaking stream for the first 2 seasons.
Yes.
And now we got him back because we need some of that French passion here on the caster desk.
Absolutely. So we had jumped right into the schedule for today, as we are witnessing today a first match, which is going to be Noetic versus Sparks. Meet for you.
Yeah, and then off-stream, what are words? Simultaneously will be taking place the match between Team Happy Feet and 7 Blades Esports. As some of you might have seen, we asked you earlier today on Twitter at ESL Swiss on which of the matches you would like to see, and it actually was a really, really close race. Yeah,
it was very
like
tight.
56%, I think, for Noetic versus Sparks. So yeah, a lot of competition already before the games have even started.
Yes,
and by the way, the same will be taking place tomorrow, where we have another round of games here for the quarterfinals, where you again have the chance to vote on which of the matches you would like to see.
But hopefully you will be kept up with the results of the parallel match in real time.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll ask them to finish fast. I mean, we don't know yet whether we're going to be looking at a full 3-game series here. I certainly hope so, because the rosters, they do look really promising coming into this. We actually have a lot of familiar faces kind of in the organization's names, but also some new faces who can potentially mix it up quite a bit here. I mean, just take Sparks or 7blade Esports, as well as Team Happy Feet. They have actually not been part of the kind of playoffs of the Swisscom Heroleague so far.
That's actually a lot of new faces we have here, to be honest. And I can't wait for it. I mean, there's a lot of potential, I think, here, and we're gonna see what's up with these guys.
And I'm just so glad that we're finally back here with League of Legends. I mean, what has it been? I think at least 200 years. And no, dear viewers, you will not be spared with those kind of jokes.
So won't I.
I'm sorry. Let's actually have a look at the bracket here, how these, which of potential oppositions they might be facing in the futures. As you can see from the upper bracket half here, we have the match between Team Happy Feet against 7blade Esports, winner of which will be facing either Lostic or Xamax, but we'll find out about that tomorrow. And then Noetic Frost against Sparks Meet4U.ch will be taking place tonight, and then we have tomorrow the duel from the Romandie in Lausanne Esports and Fragbox Gaming.
Yeah, I can't wait to see those two fighting each other. There's been a rivalry for like forever, and that's gonna be a really sparkful match.
I think they faced off last season in semi-finals.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
they did.
Was it in semi-finals?
No, it was in quarterfinals.
It was in quarters.
And Lausanne made it to the semi-finals.
Yeah, and then Lausanne, I think, lost to Recast, and in the finals it was My Insanity against Recast Gaming, both of which are not participating in Season 4. And as mentioned previously, that of course holds the opportunity for a lot of new teams to find their footing here in our beautiful league. Yeah, so what are you personally expecting from tonight?
Well, honestly, as I haven't really followed the few teams who are going to see today, I don't really know. I have, of course, a few speculations, because, well, I think the average level of the two teams is more or less quite the same. Even though I think the main role or the main player that is going to really make a huge difference isn't in the same role or position in each team, and that's gonna be, I think, a huge difference maker. And as Noetic has a very good player at the support role. I think one of the best, actually. And Sparks has him at the jungle, and I think that might be a huge difference in favor of the Spark team.
I absolutely agree. Plus, I personally think we're currently in a really interesting state of the meta, overall speaking, since all the leagues around the world, they have concluded. Everyone has sent out their top seeds to Worlds and to preparation, of course, in Shanghai, where they're currently quarantining, but also boot camping, of course. So we don't have too much insight into like pro level play, and like everything is kinda to be expected where we left off. But this also, of course, can be an opportunity for like some creativity or some of your comfort picks that can just suddenly lead you to this like meta that will be figured out over time, of course. Will find their place, and yeah, I'm already super hyped until once we see the first play-in matches, whether we're going to see some draft changes also here.
Well, hopefully we will, because I think most of the players are playing quite meta champs. When regarding to meta, of course, you said like we have it where we left, where the pros left it, and still a lot of players are still in these kind of picks even today. But maybe and hopefully we will find out some new things, and they will try out some new things today.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We also had a bit of a look at stats previously to these games tonight, and it looked like during the qualifiers, actually, champs like the Ashe and the Caitlyn and Morgana, and Lucian, of course, they've been super popular. And here we actually have the match that is coming up here live on stream, where it's going to be Noetic Frost against Sparks Meet for You. Who will battle it out for the first, to find out who will be our first contestant who makes it to the semifinals, which then of course also has the chance to make it all the way to our grand finals, who will be taking place on the 11th of October live at the Hero Fest in Bern. You already mentioned it before. Why don't you run us through the roster that Noetic Frost will be bringing up tonight?
Well, there it goes, the teams of Noetic Frost, and we have on the top lane, there it goes, Toby, which is one of the players I haven't been paying attention a lot to.
I personally think it's very funny that his name is Toby, but he's actually called Louis.
Yeah, that's a contrast there. That's quite unfamiliar. And in the jungle, we're gonna have Kazuko in the mid lane, Eliogal, and Tito has been someone I've been following a little bit more because of the recent stats he showed, and there's very promising AD carry there. I'm gonna have an eye on him, and of course at the role of support, Drolex.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, Drolex, of course, when it comes to pure elo, is the highest one on the roster of Noetic. But I'm not sure if you've seen Tito before, but he also looks like a very promising player. But let's actually look at their opposition here in Sparks Esports Meet for You here. It's going to be Real Xenios in the top lane, Tushi in the jungle, Merok in the mid lane, and then Flow Snake together with Guzi in the bottom lane. So yeah, quite as you said previously, the Tushi here, the Ukrainian Wonder Boy, who will have a lot of influence here. I'm thinking when it comes to Sparks gameplay.
He has to.
Yeah, he has to.
has to.
Especially in the current meta, like that's actually one of the big things that has changed over the last like 2 months. A lot of teams have shifted from these like not so resource intense junglers, so then you can like funnel more gold from camps into your mid lane, for example, or your AD carries, to a more of a carry style jungle, where you of course really use, I don't want to say abuse, but really make use of those changes we saw all the way back in, what was it, like patch 10.7 or so,
7 or 8,
where they lowered the respawn timers for jungle camps, but also then later increased their experience gain on later levels. And of course things like the Evelynn, like the Lilia, like the Graves we've seen popping up more and more have become vastly popular due to that.
Absolutely. One thing that I really want to see in the upcoming game is how the individual skill of each player can be used in the team to like really increase the percentage of probability that the team is winning fights and winning objectives. Because the question you often have is like, okay, at which point an individual skilled player can be impactful for the whole team. I mean, it's at the different stages of the game. Of course, the impact is going to be changing, and there are going to be a lot of variances. But at which point the team can be extract this pre-value, really this thing that this player has, giving more to the team and use it to bring victory. And again, we like go, okay, for Noetic it's going to be the support who's going to be the most skillful player, pure elo talking, of course, again. And how are you using this? How are you combining this with the other players? And yeah, just to increase the probability you win.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you there. I mean, of course, either whether it's on our like semi-professional level or even in the higher leagues like academy and challenger leagues, or even at the very top in LCK and whatnot, you always have these kind of star players
Yeah.
on a roster, or like just players that pop off super hard during a split. But in the end, like, it's still a team game, and you still have five
it
players
enough?
on the rift that all have to work together, and it has to be like this well-oiled machine. Love to compare this to like a car. What good does it to you if you have like the best engine ever, but your steering wheel is broken and your tires are shit? It's like you
And the
probably
driver is terrible.
you probably won't win a race even if you have a good engine. But like and so probably someone else who maybe has maybe even less skilled players also individually, but they just work together incredibly well, make good calls, strategic decisions, draft for their win condition, and also then execute on it. They might just have the upper hand, and that's one thing that I personally love so much about competitive League of Legends, because individual skill compared to like solo queue does matter a lot less, but it's more about like tactics, drafting, how do you like macro play, how do you funnel gold into members you really want to, how do you play off of power spike, how are you able to snowball when you get a lead early, and how do you like call for objectives, how do you team fight, etc, etc.
Well, that's one thing I've been striving to understand, which is how can you actually measure whether it's the individual skill of a player, or like the decision making of several players, or just in the game the different actions that many players do, which will affect a team fight or an objective. I don't know. And how can you measure whether it's more the individual skill or like performance, or is it like the decision making which is failing at some point? And that's something that is quite hard to me yet, but well, the thing is contradictory. It's kind of my job to figure it out, but still, it's one thing you kind of it's messy to understand. In a fight, you have to analyze so many things. There's so many variables to take care, to consider, and at some point, it's you just wonder, okay, was it like his mistake? Was it like the decision? Was it like this? Was it like? And there's so many possibilities, and that's something that's difficult for me. But imagine for the players, well, they are in the stress, they are in the moment, and they have to care about everything they do and everything else the other players are doing. And so that's I'm impressed, and that's why I'm here, to be honest, because I love just looking at how much the players. I mean, okay, we don't have extremely pro players that are in this league today, but that's where it starts, like, and that's where they grow up and they take their place. And I just love to see how much a player can actually like astonish you with these kinds of performance, where he is actually like using his potential and just being good at what he's doing and considering everybody else, and this way they just flip a game or take objectives or take the game, and that's just amazing, because I can't do that.
I guess in the end it's all very, very fluid and dynamic, and that's just the beauty of it. Talking about beautiful things, don't forget, of course, to follow our socials on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at ESL Swiss, if you want to keep up to date with all our results, of course, and the next upcoming matches. Don't forget, we also stream other games here like Clash Royale and CSGO, of course, and we'll have more League of Legends action tomorrow, and then next week on Monday we have more Clash Royale. On Tuesday there will be CSGO. On Wednesday there will be even more League of Legends, and on Friday as well. And then we're already heading into final preparation week until our grand finals on the 10th and 11th of October. You also have the chance, by the way, to chip in with your opinions or your impressions from our games to come by using hashtag ESL Swiss. you can share with us your most impressive moments or whatever you always wanted to say or
make us laugh. I mean,
yes, please.
That's I think that's the main thing this option can offer. It's just to make us laugh, because some of you have just creative minds that blow me out.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Genius. Do it.
On the topic of creative minds, something that is also recently happened was the release of Samira. And I don't
Very
know
creative.
if it's creativity or about 400 years of collective experience in game design that led to this champion. She certainly looks very, very interesting to me personally. She's the first ever champion who can like legit int. You can really donate gold over to your opponent. I can't wait for like montages where they just only throw coins. It does damage though. Which is like a neat little touch. So
wait, I can't wait for the first clips where we actually
coin
kill
kill.
someone. Yeah. Like we had the kill steal banana with Soraka, and now we're gonna have the Samira coin kill. That's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be even memeier.
Absolutely.
But like overall, have a close look at her. She looks so strong. It's like one of these kids where you're like, well, I'm glad she's not in Worlds.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a lot of potential. I think so.
Yeah.
The kit is huge. I mean, there's a lot of variations. There's so many tools.
Yeah,
she
gets like passive movement speed off of her passive, and then also you get to like knock someone up in the air if they're hard crowd control, so you can just like prolong CC. By the way, I could really see her with something like a Swain. Imagine you're like rooted by the grasp of Empire, I think, the death grasp or something, then being pulled back and then knocked up again by Samira. At that time, they really have like more than 200 years will have passed, and you're probably looking at a grey screen, and that was only her passive.
Well, one thing I wonder is like, okay, that's what they want to do, like right when they're publishing a new like a new champ, and they just want to show the kid off and like, look what she can do, and wow. Of course, but then you still have to execute it, and I think that's something that's not going to be possible for everyone, because the more possibilities you have with one champion, speaking about a kid, right, and you have to figure out how you do it exactly the best way and how to optimize each individual skill of the champ, and when you use it, and then the itemization is going to be of course a huge difference maker. And what's good about not having it at Worlds, it's like there's going to be some ideas floating around, and then suddenly boom, one is going to a few pro players are going to like, these guys are just dismantling the champs. Like they're looking at everything possible they can imagine, and just trying everything out until they found the one and only thing that's the best. And until then, I kind of wonder how it's gonna be played.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this also so much like during season 10 in and of itself. Like just like check rune choices. I mean, suddenly like Graves with Phase Rush has become super strong. Some players even played with like Ignite, completely ditching the flash, because you of course have your quick draw to escape pesky situations, and just like hard press down that gas and go like full ham. But then also like just the things we've seen come out of Unsealed Spellbook, of course. Yes, to some extent a little problematic, but just like overall, if you had a look at it, when we had that Keystone change feature change with like Omnistone, and everybody was like, oh no, this is not gonna happen. And then like now Unsealed Spellbook, that we see so much creativity and so many new things pop up, and like we saw it on like supports, and then suddenly you have supports with access to TP and like really creative ganks and stuff, and just overall I really liked the meta so far, and the shifts and evolutions we've seen. The Aphelios period was a little stressful, I guess, for many people, but certainly fun to watch. I'll never forget, what was it? I think Patrick's play on it in the one game, I think against Schalke. No, it was Inex, I think. which was just fantastic to watch if you're just like, okay, this, and it so created so many memes. I mean, before 2020, 200
over.
years had a entirely different meaning, and now we're like here. But I gotta be honest with you, like I like when new champions are released and they bring something new to the table.
Yeah, and
like that, if they're impactful, because if it's just like, okay, yeah, here's the new champion, let's store him in a dark box and put him in the corner, and it's not gonna be seen anywhere for like half a year or so. It was like that was nearly happening with Lily, I feel, but then like especially Korean and LPL teams started figuring her out, and then it got like, and now it's like a super strong champions with barely any changes actually.
Well, that's one thing that is very intriguing me. It's like how much you can actually with one new champ impact the whole game. But that's going to be for later, because we already have our first
there we go,
which is Bard. No wonder it's Noetic's main player of the support, of course. And Trunks is not gonna play him.
Yeah, Noetic here opts for Illusion Ban. That, of course, a pick that has enjoyed so much popularity in these play-ins and qualifiers here. So no wonder, and it's a really strong flex pick, by the way. Not an AD carry. It's either played in the mid or the top lane. And there we see the Vladimir as well as the Caitlyn here being banned.
It's going
out.
so fast. I mean,
Yeah.
they're legit just target banning.
I think probably Sparks will opt to go for a first pick Senna here, by them banning out the Caitlyn. And now it's of course over here to Noetic Frost to see whether they maybe will smell that pick coming. It's actually going to be the Gangplank here that is banned out from them, so they want to exclude that possibility here for Real Xenios to help out his bot lane here even more with that cannon barrage. And now I'm quite curious for that first pick. There it is, the Senna coming out right away.
This man knows the team.
Kinda have to. And now we of course have the Jhin or the Ashe here as a potential counter pick, of course, to come in against that Senna. Possibly also something the likes of, the Blitzcrank is a possibility, of course, but it's kind of hard to pull off, I think, especially as Senna's range grows and grows over the course of the game. And there is our favorite pony here coming in by the looks of it. Hecarim, who's had such a resurgence here in the meta, is of course super strong at the moment. And looks like Sparks will be opting for that Graves here. Tushi is quite adept on that champion. Of course, his Nidalee earned him also a lot of respect, has been banned out on the side of Noetic. But it could also like be the Lilia, for example, or something like that. Evelyn, no, it's going to be the Graves being locked in here.
We already have some schema here around, in my opinion, for Noetic, as I think they're really looking for the crowd control, and I think they're gonna pick still even more crowd control, because the Graves is just a huge damage output, and they know it, and it's the brute force of the team, and I wouldn't wonder if that's going to be even worse now.
Good. I really like the Shen pick here on the side of Sparks, because of course Senna and Graves relying heavily on auto attacks to get out all their DPS. They can be countered by that Spirit's Refuge, of course, and when you pick the Shen yourself, you're the one who has that skill at their disposal. But Noetic here opting for the Silas against it. With that, of course, he has some quite nice ultimates to steal here, I gotta say. But Silas is always one of the champions that can work really well, but you really have to play around him to a certain extent.
There goes the Zilean.
Yeah, Zilean, no
revive for neither the Ashe nor the Silas.
Say no porn star Zilean in this game, and no Unicorn Lady either, as Soraka is taken off the table here. I also expect something like a Morgana ban maybe coming out here on the side of Sparks, as the Thresh here is being taken off the table. or set. I'd really love to see a set here.
Banned or played?
Played. Because set is just the stuff of my dreams are made of, to be honest.
Oh.
I'm already looking forward to the new skin that's being released, and there we see the Morgana that is banned out. Samira here being hovered just to tease us a little bit. But she will not be available for today and tomorrow either. I'm not quite sure yet about semi-finals and finals, but we'll of course update you about that. As the Nautilus here is being hovered, and
that's literally crowd control.
Yeah,
he is the crowd
that is
control.
crowd control, like definition of it. Yeah, maybe we'll see the set here finally on the side of Sparks pick that is usually banned out, and then something like an Oriana maybe in the mid lane, but that is kind of hard, especially into the Hecarim. Can be quite dangerous. Now, Syra is being hovered here, very interesting. If that will be locked in here, and it is Syra. We haven't seen her in quite a while, to be honest.
Been a while. Yeah.
But I love it here. Full-on aggression in that bot lane. They really want to press their advantage down there.
I think they have to, because once you reach extreme late game, well, that's not really true, because Senna is scaling absolutely.
Yeah, and Graves
terribly.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, they go for the full. Looks like they go for the full bot lane comp here.
Yeah, they need a huge front lane.
Yeah.
They need someone that's taking everything that's coming towards them.
But they also have quite a lot of damage. I mean, Azira deals such incredible amounts of damage, especially once she's completed that Liandry's Torment. It will be really tough, and then with a Galio and Shen front line, it will be quite tough here, even with the loads of CC on the side of Noetic. To break through as the last pick here for Noetic is actually going to be the Irelia here. And it looks like the Sylas will be going to the top lane against the Shen here. I like it. Good adaptation here on the side of Noetic, as that Irelia will be going to the mid lane. I gotta be honest, like I think this can be quite tough if he does not play super aggressively into the Galio, because I feel like a lot of people underestimate Galio's early damage. And also, of course, then he's always picked like for his map impact, of course. But things he also offers just with his passive, that is these days on quite a low cooldown, plus his Winds of War. He has such good wave clear, and therefore good control over the mid lane waves. Which of course enables him to roam around, and with his with all his crowd control, he of course is a great roamer, not only to the bot lane but also to just enable his jungle, and that's exactly what you want in this comp. You want to really enable the Graves so he can pressure against Hecarim, who's quite weak, especially early on, and where you can just invade the enemy jungle over and over, steal away those camps, and in the end snowball it like that, and then you'll just have a very sad pony on the other side of the rift, as we're getting ready to head into the game here. No, that's definitely not what you want. So tell me here, who do you give the edge in your opinion in this draft?
There are some things that I'm kind of wondering about. It's like there's no TP on the Irelia. The TP is on Sylas, so they definitely acknowledge the Shen split push TP ultimate, which is going to be their biggest threat, I think, because they don't have the necessary tools, I think, to counter that properly. The only thing they can actually do is like force something, and they have the kits to force something. They have a Nautilus, they have the Ashe, they can engage from far away. They have a huge mobility with Hecarim, with of course Irelia too, and I just can't wait to see how this is going out, because I think the both of them have a really great a team composition with very different playstyles they have to apply on, and I think it's just gonna be the execution of the tactic that's gonna be the huge difference.
Yeah, I guess like as we're heading into the game here with our beautiful cinematics, here, and of course big thanks already to our production team, who is once again prepared a lot of nice shots here over the rift. Really love those banners, have not seen them before, and the duckling can never be missing. Just love it. As we are heading onto the rift here, and as you can see, the Graves has actually chosen to run with the ignite, so full-on aggression.
That's what you said right before.
Yeah, it's like
there it is.
We want to make the pony sad. Let's get some fire in this. What also is a bit surprising here is the Hecarim running the phase rush. We usually see the ghost, yes, but most of the time it's still being run. I think with the Conqueror who is of course better in those drawn-out fights. But looking at the overall composition here from Noetic Frost, it is of course only one thing that counts, and that is hard engage and CC, which they have plenty of. And yeah, if one of those Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands onto one of the pretty squishy members on the side of Sparks, there will be a lot of damage.
And of course, an absolute standard red start for the Graves and for the Hecarim. They're gonna clear the jungle probably before trying anything.
Yeah, interestingly enough here, Hecarim choosing to not start out on the Raptors and then going over to
That's
the
cheesy.
red. But he probably...
But he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he probably assumed this.
he
But look
hasn't
at
been
this,
seen
Sushi is
yet.
already there. That's the ignite going down, and Kha'Zix dropping first blood over to the Graves. What a play.
That's awful. That's awful for Noetic. Starting like that, giving the Graves the first blood. You know this is going to be the player that's the biggest threat in the game, and yet they just let him do it.
Yeah, Tushi there, he was a man with a plan. Just red buff, walking through the river, taking the blast plant into the blue buff camp. And yeah, then he was like, oh, okay, nice, there's a horse. I'm gonna kill the horse if I can kill the blue buff. And now he actually has both. 400 gold in his pocket and the blue buff.
Wow. He has to come back from this, obviously, because that's gonna be a tough game if Tushi can just... Oh my god, scale like that, so fast, so quick, that's gonna be a terror.
And yeah, Hecarim is one of those picks that has gained a lot of popularity over the past few weeks. But usually when you see these games, I actually just recently watched one of Yamato Cannon's videos. It's like he's kind of overrated, because in the games he was really impactful, which were quite a few to be honest. But he always got like early kills, and sometimes even like 2. And of course that propels you so much further forward, especially when you're looking for that Trinity Force power spike. As Tushi's just making his way into the enemy jungle here, but gets spotted out. Yeah, the Hecarim on the Ghost, of course.
Well, there's still no flash.
Yeah.
There's still no flash on the Hecarim because he didn't pick it, and there goes the fight. Graves dealing a huge tons of damage, and that's the flash out, but he's eventually going to die anyway. No, he's making it.
Not quite, not quite. Good stun there, wow, with the Kingslayer, plus that abscond Abductor. Toby actually manages to get the kill there, and Eliogal is now also here in the top lane as Merok comes up to help out his top laner, and that's a 1-for-0 kill here in the favor of Mythic.
That's going to be helpful for the Silence top lane, of course. Pushing the wave at maximum before the resets, and now it's time for shopping.
Yeah, and with that, Merok has actually lost quite a bit here, or sacrificed quite a bit here in his mid lane to roam up there. But on the other hand, Xenia still has like a full wave advantage here, and if he times his recall properly, as Tushi and Kha'Zix are just going at it again here in the bot lane. As Tushi decides to this time quick draw out over the wall, and they manage to take down the bottom scuttle here. Yeah, Hecarim has actually done well in recovering. Tushi was not able to further propel his farm lead, but looking at his top side jungle, he actually still has all his camps up, including his blue buff. And yeah, that now on his second clear on the bottom side as well as his first clear on the top side will get him ahead quite a bit as he's making his way into the mid.
And there it goes. Slow is applied on the Eliogal mid. He's going to make it out, but it costs at the flash.
End of the line there, hits and forces Eliogal to flash out. And with that, they can crash this wave here. Eliogal actually has to be careful here not to get dove, because the Galio can be quite tanky, especially with that aftershock, but Sparks decide to back off here. Okay, never mind. Tushi just wants some more of that pony.
I think that's gonna be a first reset for Galio. And he will have to temporize, I think, as good as he can and taking some defense items, because what he's wanting to do is just farm up. I don't think he's really aiming to duel or trying to force fights in the mid lane, as Tushi is like he has enough to do with the pony. Okay, he has already in mind to counter jungle to like
he's
grab up
gotten
his jungle as good as he can.
Yeah, but like props to Kasiko here. He managed to recover quite well from those early skirmishes, and they're actually quite equal in farm at the moment. Biggest lead so far is in the top lane here by Real Xenios, as Toby there previously with that kill lost a lot of his wave to just minions here. So far it's actually pretty dead even here. Both teams will just ding the 10k gold mark now, and yeah, so far it looks quite equal. I'm looking forward to some of these first team fights. Ocean Dragon is the first Drake here that has spawned, and so yeah, that already means we could be looking at a potential Infernal Soul. Of course, chance of that is only 33%, but that would certainly be a spicy one, especially on things like the Graves, like the Senna, or the Zyra for Sparks, but also on the side of Noetic Frost. That would obviously be massively appreciated here.
The vision is going to be taken from Noetic's side. They don't want anybody of the Sparks coming in, because they want really to clear vision to Drake control. But one thing they have to keep in mind is the Galio has his ultimate, and there's ultimate on Shen, of course, so they can really move very quickly in if they need to, and that's gonna happen very probably.
Yeah, Noetic there nicely building up that vision around the bottom side, have a river under their control here very solidly. Also managed to rotate their bot lane down here, and even Toby here stole the Shen ultimate just in case he also needs to join in there. So yeah, overall here, great play from Noetic. They secured the first Ocean Dragon here, as yeah, Tushi nicely counters here with the Herald. Those early Heralds, of course, can be very, very impactful, since it's basically more or less free, yeah. Free 320
there
gold
it goes.
input
The
as
flash in from Drolex going in, and the ultimate of Hecarim taking the kill here for a secure play on the bot lane. Of course, two ultimates. No, not even two ultimates, just one. It's the flash, of course, that has been used from Drolex.
Yeah, Flowsnake still had his flash on cooldown there, so he couldn't get out of that situation. And now actually Goosey here also has to pay attention, as he could still get dove. That enchanted crystal arrow is still up, as well as the Nautilus ulti here, and Kasiko knows this and steps forward quite aggressively here, as he gets rooted up there by the Tangle Barbs, and some damage being dealt over. Flowsnake has respawned. They managed to take two full platings here in the bot lane, and yeah, are quite happy, I'm guessing, with that lane state now.
That's a huge advantage they're getting there. Of course, the kill isn't on Ash, but yet the assist is. So I think that's gonna be the boots. Yeah, it is. And of course, she's gonna be in lane quick as possible to keep on farming and trying to outscale. But it's not really outscale, it's like scale as much as Sina is going to scale.
Yeah, absolutely. Tushi also making good use there, was in the top lane and decides to steal away those Crocs on the side of Kasiko. he now will find out about this. And yeah, the farm in the jungle currently is equal, but Tushi still has all his camps up now. I think if he completes them, he will have a level advantage here over his opponent. As it's actually pretty amazing. Flow Snake is level 7, while Tito is only level 6 at this point, so he managed to soak a bit more HP. Tito just dinging level 7 there as well, so that advantage is gone. Guzi now roaming up here to the mid lane. Good tangle barbs there being landed, but yeah, everybody decides to shake hands and pull back there. As there is now the warding item completed on Guzi. He will have access to those wards. Yeah. And now Tushi can look to a farm advantage to build here.
Oh, careful. Of course, Kazuko is on the bot lane, but he's not alone. Tushi is there in case they need some backup with a red buff, and they have all the summoners ready, which is not the case of Noetic. So this can turn around very, very rapidly. And careful, the arrow is missing so closely, but the Zyra isn't here.
Oh, there's step charge, Shen ulti.
And there it goes for the first kill, and I think they're gonna finish off at least 2 of them, because there is still no flash on Kazuko. He took the Ghost, which is still on cooldown, and the ultimate has been used to engage.
Yeah,
no
and there's
kill.
the Herald. TP will be channeled here to the top lane, to the bottom lane. Toby there joining in. Good route there onto Guzi, who will use his ultimate there, but that's killing spree now over to Xenios. A 4v1 there, but there's a shutdown going on.
Oh my goodness,
Whoa.
He's taking 2, maybe 3, because no, of course the Galio is going in, but now they have to turn around, but Toby cannot follow that. He's too low on HP to do anything that would help. That's for sure a lost trade there.
And Tushi there also falls. This game started out so calmly, and now we're looking at a slaughter here basically.
They don't stop it. They just have no time to stop. The heal is still available, but I don't think he's going to use aggressively. That would be a waste. He's not, of course he's not doing it.
So overall that was a 5-4-3 trade in the favor of Sparks, as we have a replay here. Enchanted Crystal Arrow missing. Depth Charge check coming. Look at the beautiful Shen ulti here. Flow Snake just remains on
double tones, which is extremely well made.
Tushi gets slow, but then just can sustain back up, and just look at Xenios. There's just no chance they can really contest him here. That TP now by Toby is quite debatable, as they see the Herald there going down. They probably should have just used that at the top lane to get something back there. And look at that Zyra ulti. Absolutely insane. Gets the heal there too. Xenios there unluckily being stunned up underneath the tower, and then good.
I kind of don't really understand Elioga going in there. No. He was so late in the team fight, because you could see him like walking through the whole river trying to reach, but the thing is you cannot compete with a Galio ultimate there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just have to accept the fact that you're not gonna make it in time.
Just too slow there. And then just walking in, and he kept walking in as Galio was charging up that taunt there, and just walking into it and giving the kill over. Actually, the kills, we should actually talk about the allocation of the skills here, as Xenios actually got 3 kills in that one, and Tushi also got 2 more. On the side of Nötig Frost, basically all of them went to Toby. Of course, he will be happy with that.
That's for sure.
But overall, it's...
And let's not forget the Drake that has been taken by Nötig. And there it goes, another fight, but this is very dangerous, as there is backup. Drolex going in, the hook is not landing, and the kill is still going to Tushi. That's amazing. That's amazing. Flash still available on Drolex.
Yeah, and there's the Tangle Barbs now coming out onto Drolex. He will be knocked up, makes it out there with the dredge line. Nicely done. But Tushi will, of course, massively appreciate that shutdown, as Eliogal is taken down here in the mid lane by the looks of it. And Xenios getting another kill here. Also has a shutdown now, but yeah, this Graves will be a problem.
Yeah, he will. What I was saying earlier, Merrick, was was probably going in defense side, and he's absolutely not doing that. He's there to deal as much damage as he can, and I think the response is very smart, as they do have a lot of crowd control, it's true, but there are, if you look at the build and the summoners of Kazuko, he wants the game to be rapid, he wants to pace it up. And how do you react to quick fights that are not necessary with everybody? Well, you do as much damage as you possibly can. There it goes again, very fast fight with the stun hits, and that's an execution. Galio is coming in, but I think that's not going to be helpful enough to turn this around.
No, that was just poor Guzi there, overstepping a bit, and Kazuko already being in the enemy jungle there, stealing away those raptors, of course. Wouldn't never decline a free kill there on a support like that. Charges into the mid lane with that devastating charge. And gets that kill onto his mid laner, who finally gets one on the board with that. And now Toby here in the top lane, actually nicely just trying to freeze the wave here, but it will bounce back eventually at this state, as there's a cannon wave on his side. And now Drolex here is looking for a pick, as Dragon is about to spawn in 2 minutes, and we are actually looking at an Infernal Rift here. I didn't even mention that before.
And the arrow misses his targets so close again. Careful, Kazuko is being alone there. The taunt has popped, so maybe they can do something before Tushi bursts him down, and it's done! But yet, the real Xenius is taking out a kill. Now they're joining in, everybody is coming in, flashes in, flashes out! Tito's turning around, slowing the target as good as he can, and that's the first kill for Eliogal. The second kill, my bad, which is gonna help him a lot, because he had a very rough early, but now it should be stabilized, as Toby is pushing. No teleports available yet, no objectives is immediately requiring their attention, so that's, I think, the right thing to do.
And there we have the replay of that bot lane action here. Kazuko charging in, good dodge there with the quick draw actually. And Tushi being engaged upon, then decides to go back into the alcoves, chase.
I love how Kazuko is waiting out the Mervax taunt, which wins him just enough time to make a kill on on the Graves.
Yeah. Drolex here also has to burn his flash. Marok is overextended there, and Flowsnake just coming in too late, as well as Guzi there, and they don't manage to get anything in return. But of course they had the Herald charging in here on the bot lane, and now it's 9 for 9 kills, and with that top lane tower also going over in favor of Noetic. They're actually now in the gold lead by about 1,000 gold, and before this situation here in the bot, we actually Sparks were the ones in the lead, so it's quite a bit of a back and forth, and I think you can really feel
this
that
can
tension.
be very dangerous, as the arrow is missing again for the third time. This is terrible, but I think the fight is still in favor of Noetic yet, because they, no, they're not.
I don't think so. They burned quite a lot of cooldowns. They don't have a flash on their support and their AD carry.
Well, they still have the ultimate of Kazuko that might be enough just to take the Drake. Guzi's taking out, but of course it turns around. Kazuko, no smite available, but that's the Shen coming in, and of course saving as as good as
Dragon over to Noetic.
Oh god.
Oh, that's actually big here. Teamfight win over to Sparks here, I would say, as they trade 4 for 3 here with Guzi actually going down quite fast, but the Dragon, of course, being taken here by Noetic, it is huge as they're looking at soul point.
And Kazuko has no time to use his ultimate. Oh yes, he did. That's Tushi being afraid for a few seconds. Tito is 3 DPS at the backline, right there behind everyone, but Toby taking the Drake with the Mist Smite that has been used on somebody. I didn't have time to see on whom, but
sometimes you have to. They're onto Tito, now backing off. But the gold lead is actually back in favor of Sparks. Now they're nearly up 1k gold here. And if you look at the individual golds, actually Drawlegs has a huge advantage here over Goosey. He's died quite a few times. Merok is significantly behind his opposition in Eliogal, but the big difference is really in that jungle role, as the Graves is currently about 1,600 gold actually up here over Kazuko, as he has completed his Trinity Force though, but the Graves is already working at his Death Dance, and once that is completed it will be significantly harder here for Noetic to burst out that Graves, and he will not stop doing damage anytime soon.
Yeah, they will have to take anti-heal, it's obvious, and it's probably in the plans of Tito as well as on Toby, but not immediately maybe, because they have to make some other items first. That's kind of obvious, and there goes the bottom turret. Finally.
Yeah. And so far, like half the kills of Noetic are allocated onto Toby, who's had a honestly really fantastic game here so far. He's looked so strong, but I gotta say, I personally feel like the Silas is so hard to pull off in the late game especially. Yes, he does a lot of damage, but I mean, it's basically one taunt here coming out from Xenios, and he will probably die. So it will be a challenge here for Noetic to make full use of that, as yeah, real Xenios here on that Shen. He's super fat at this point, already has 2 items completed here, and especially with that Thorn Mail, that has such good effects here against basically the full roster here coming out from Noetic. It's great against the Irelia, great against Hecarim Sustain, of course, even though he's not running the Conqueror, and of course just a prime source of healing mitigation into that Silas, who really relies on those Kingslayer healings.
I think the itemization of the Toby is quite interesting. He's very far in advance. He's a lot of gold, but he still decides, well, yet, to go for utility items.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting. He's not there to deal as much damage as possible in a quick time. He wants to sustain. He wants to create space for his team to be there and participate at the fight, and of course for the Ashe, peeling for the Ashe as good as he can, so she can deal as much damage as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Now both the teams are setting up here around bot side river, want to get as much vision down as they can. Currently Noetic is holding that control quite solidly here, as they of course want that Infernal Soul. About a 24-minute potential Infernal Soul here. That is really strong coming out for them. Merrick really has to pay attention here to not get caught by Drolex here, who is hiding in that bush, and if they manage to land a catch here, that can become quite sketchy here for the side of Sparks, because they really have to contest this. You can't let an Ashe, Silas, Hecarim have an Infernal Soul, because that will be very painful. As they're slowly inching forward here into the river. There of course comes one of the weaknesses of the Syra. Syra, she's very squishy, but of course holds a ton of damage, but it's usually easier to use when your opponents are pushing into you. So Sparks would do really well here if they were the ones with the river control.
To take a decision, because the time is ticking. Xenios is taking
they
the
are
turret.
coming in here. They want to steal this away. Great ultimate there. They get the Infernal Soul actually, and take down the Graves with it.
And Tito is there, but no one can reach him. His position is so good, and the
Toby
peel is so huge that he's just 3 DPS behind everyone and ripping down apart the team of Sparks, losing a lot here at this fight.
Yeah, it looked for the beginning of that fight, it looked really good for Sparks, but then like Tito, he just had all the room in the world there to kite back and stay safe as Toby.
So did Toby, absolutely. And that's
Toby was just wreaking havoc there onto that. And yeah, we have a quick look again here at this situation.
I mean, that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
It's like huge crowd control,
They
huge
want to burn it
damage.
down here. Look at this.
But
Uzi has to flash in here actually, because it gets knocked away there with the blast plant. And then as the soul goes over, they will of course take even more damage here. Merok wants to flash out there. The shutdown there coming over onto the Shen. That will also be of course massively appreciated here on the side of Noetic. And then yeah, Toby just basically styling on his opponents there.
And Tito had his flash available still, but they used so much. I mean, Flowsnake flashed, Merok flashed, and they all flashed not necessary to take down Tito, because there's so many people to take down. You have Toby that is dealing huge amounts of damage while being very useful to the team with his Zonia attempt, gaining some time, and of course with the GLP just slowing everybody so they cannot reach their back lane, and that's so difficult to. They just couldn't make out where exactly they have to shoot at.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many targets.
Absolutely. As we're looking at, yeah, we're slowly getting into the late game here, as Toby has already completed 3 items here, but he still wants to brawl against Xenios.
Careful, you cannot take down this gen.
It's like, how many games do you have where both top laners have 8 kills at 27 minutes? Yeah, and nearly 3 items completed here. So, yeah, quite an unforeseen situation, I'd say, as both top laners are pretty huge in this one, but of course the Silas spikes so much harder in that mid game with just his raw damage and the level he currently has, as he's level 15. I mean, compare that to Guzi, who's currently level 10. He jumps onto him once and he will just melt just by that with that Lich Bane essentially.
And it costs so much to Sparks to actually counter all that healing that is in Noetic's team. I mean, they have all to invest in that, and that's taking them a little bit down, because I mean, it's not paying off yet.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's usually like, yeah, healing reduction are sometimes, yeah, they can be very expensive, but in this case I absolutely agree that they are necessary here for the side of Sparks Esports, and they have it now completed on Merok there in the mid lane as well, with the Forbidden Book that we shall not name. Okay, I will anyways in the Morellonomicon here. Big point here also for Flowsnake, who has completed his Muramana just a minute ago or so, so he will deal a lot more damage here. But of course, big factor currently for any upcoming fights will be that Infernal Soul that will make it so much harder here for Sparks to stand up to all the damage Noetic Frost has.
And we have the third item on Tito that has just popped out. The Blade of the Rune King is going to be even more controlling, even more sustaining this Ashe, just to allow her to DPS as long as possible. And we have
actually an interesting choice here that he goes for the Blade of the Ruin King third, as he was like opting for crit, but maybe it's because of the Galio and the Shen, who just are stacking so much HP, so he wants to get good value off of that. And
there it
is now
goes.
looking at
Teleport is available on both mid laner and top laner.
Goes
they
down
might
super
just go in,
fast.
and it's going in. Be careful, teleport has been used, so they disengage. The cost has been paid for Sparks, teleport has been used, but now they have to make something out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. As Flowsnake here gets stacked by the Baron, did not de-aggro there in time. Heals up a bit with that piercing darkness. And yeah, mission accomplished for Noetic. They got out the teleport there from Real Xenios, and will now try to siege down the mid lane again. and possibly look at another Baron attempt, this time with the TP being down. But of course, when you're playing Shen, you still have to stand united, so you have essentially a second TP at your disposal. And I think Sparks at the moment, they just want to draw this out for a bit here and potentially look for that Elder Drake that's spawning in 20 minutes already. That's the advantage of okay, they get spotted there on the bush.
They were looking for misplays from Noetic, but they're not falling for it. Not yet.
Not happening right there. But currently, Toby, he is still in base. And yeah, this is now the opposite situation. This is now the situation where the Syra can really get value out of her kit here when you have to push into her. And we'll see if they can burst
zoning
her out.
so good. The ultimate
Toby
has
stealing
been
away
stolen.
the Galio ulti. Massive ult there coming out for Kazuko.
And there it goes. The crowd control and the damage is just too big for Sparks to remain alive. But careful, Tushi's still alive. Ash has been taken down. This time they're focused to right, but that's not enough. Again, they can use everything on Toby, and yes, they kill him, but Tito is finishing the fight. And oh, you want to use everything on Tito? No problem. We still have Hecarim, we still have Toby, and still Elioga that is going to rip off this game from Sparks.
Yeah,
and
I think this might have just sealed the deal here for Noetic Frost as they're now heading over to the Baron after taking down the Elder Drake. And there you have a look at this. Look at Kazuko here, getting into the backline there with the onslaught of shadows.
Arrow hitting.
Yeah. And then also Toby, who stole away the heroic entrance and gets in on top of it all.
Yeah.
Flow Snake and Goosey just going down in an instant. Tushi actually managing to survive for quite a bit here. But then it was just clean up here for Toby, who manages to get himself a triple kill with that one. And yeah, Noetic is now solidly in the lead here. Some flashes burned there that maybe could have been preserved, but overall a fantastic win here for Noetic, as they also have taken the Baron here.
Yes.
And yeah, the gold lead now 6.5k in favor of Noetic. And now Sparks is really under pressure here to come up with anything basically at this point to come back into this.
Well, the thing is, they have so much crowd control. I mean, some of the Sparks players have been CC'd forever during this fight. They couldn't just move at all, and that's, I think, one of the strengths of the composition that Noetic went for. Is, I mean, yes, you have a lot of damage, you have a lot of sustain, but we just won't let you play because you will be rooted and stunned and bumped and whatever we have forever. You're not going to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like Sparks, they do have a good front line. They want to enable Flow Snake to deal that damage, but then again, you have a Syra next to that who just like dies to a cold breeze at this point. And yeah, it's just like if you have basically Sparks at this point is a door, but Noetic's comp is a sledgehammer. And I'm not really sure at the moment. At the moment, it doesn't really look like that door is made out of metal, but it looks like it's more made of wood, or maybe at this point probably paper. And yeah, Noetic can just charge in there. And Toby has already reached level 18 here. Has a Rabadon's death cap on top of it all. He's at 4.5 items, so insanely strong on that Silas here. And we saw it in the last fight. If he manages to steal away the heroic entrance there from the Galio, it's just so hard for Sparks to do anything, especially when that Hecarim charges into the backline.
I think Guzi is really having a hard time as well, because he's going full damage, but the only damage he can deal is actually to the front lane of Noetic, and the front lane doesn't really care about one item. Difference here between Drolex and Guzi is Drolex has the redemption. He has the Iron Solari, okay, and he has even the Gargoyle, so he can tank forever, he can shield his mates, he can crowd control everybody, and can even heal. So I think the impact that Drolex is having is far, far bigger than Guzi.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Kazuko there looking for another potential engage here, as Toby once again has the heroic entrance here at his disposal, and that's just going to be the third inhibitor here being taken down by Noetic. No, they actually managed to defend it here for a bit at least. As yeah, Sparks will probably be looking for a fight here. They kind of have to, because if that last
time is
inhibitor
ticking
falls,
and the huge
be
waves
really
are
tough.
coming.
Yeah.
So you cannot afford to wait here. Either you try something or you just get overflowed by minions.
Yeah, I mean they still have the potential here. With a Xenios does not have his flash up yet, but of course with a nice taunt there as he gets in there. Good heroic entrances on both sides. Flow Snake there gets shielded by his own ultimate as well, and there's just too much backline dive.
But careful,
Yeah.
this can still turn around as Tito is not able to finish Xenios. But well, that's a 3 versus 1. The turrets are falling down and Xenios is just dying because there's nothing he can do about a 4v1.
Yeah, we
no
could just see it there. Like Flow Snake, he got so many shields there, and still there was like nothing he could do anymore. Hecarim charging in there with the onslaught of shadows. Heroic entrance on top of it all, coming out from a giga fat Silas. I can't put it differently. He was full build in the end, just jumping in there. And then on top of it all, you also have an Irelia for good measure, because why not?
Let's not forget that.
Yeah, yeah. And Senna in that kind of scenario just does not really have any fun. And
I'm
I
still
think we could see
impressed.
that.
I mean, at the last fight, you could clearly see that Nautilus just went in. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, he could take all the damage you want. He has the gargoyle. He has every shield and heal you need. He was just walking out. I don't know, two hard CCs and a lot of damage, just walking out like there's nothing. While Tito is.
I mean, he
banging.
did nearly go down, but it's like, okay, yeah, we just want you to overstep and get your cooldowns out, because if the Shen does not have his shadow dash available, there's really not much they can do in terms of peeling.
Yeah.
And with the Syra also being super squishy, and like they're not being like a tankier support who can really provide that backline defense or that peel for their ADC. He's just like basically a chicken running across an empty field, and yeah, you have like 5 guys around shooting at it, and yeah, at some point they will hit it.
Yeah, I think he had a very difficult time to find a way to impact the game at this point. Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely.
But I mean, big props to Noetic Frost here for drafting like they did. I think they kind of predicted to some extent what Sparks is going for here, and yeah, played around it well. They just had, as we said in the beginning, they just had so much CC to just lock down everyone on the opposite roster. I mean, also Tushi had such a great start there with that early invade and the kill on the Hecarim, but then I feel like he overdid it a little bit and went in too ham, kind of, and instead of just like trying to farm up, he went a bit too far.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, yeah. And in the end, but also like Kazuko, he managed to recover so well from going down there early. Yeah, because that is really the material that can tilt you and make for a really hard game. But he had such great impact in this game. We actually have a few replays here to look at and highlights from this first game here in League of Legends, coming into the Season 4 of the Swisscom Heroleague.
And of course the first blood.
Yeah.
What else did you expect?
This was jungle aggression masterclass, let's be honest. That was just clean, walking up there and being Graves, and this was also fantastic though. Rolex there, and after that dredge line connected.
There's nothing you could really do.
Nope. This was a great turn though by Sparks, and that was really the fight that blew the game wide open.
To me, this was a mess.
Yes, it definitely was. Yeah, but like, before that it was kind of calm, you know, like 2 kills on the side of Noetic and 1 on the side of Sparks, and then suddenly this happened.
And we don't see it, but right there when Galio is using his ultimate, a little bit after that. I mean, I think he's going
Yeah.
around now.
He's coming. I think. Yeah,
There
he's
he
coming
is.
in now.
Well, I was saying earlier that Illegal has, like,
Yeah.
he was too late and he shouldn't have done it. But well, he was not that late because Galio ultimated very late as well.
Yeah. This was also a bit unlucky here, I feel, that
Yeah, that's terrible.
Tushi managed went down there. I think he died like to one of the arrows from the volley. I think Asiko just wanted to go in as
And
well.
I think if you look here
I, thi-
again at
this I
Tito,
think this was the big turning point.
yeah, it was.
This was like the fight that sealed the deal here, because Sparks, they were in a favorable position. Tushi was still alive here, no jungler in the opposite side, and then 10 HP, and Toby stealing it away there. And with that, they had Soul Point. If that dragon went over to Sparks, they would have bought themselves at least 5 more minutes. This actually looks beautiful. Look at that. Just
Double
2
ultimate.
Galios. That looks great.
And
Thank you
that's-
very much,
And I think
spectators,
it's
for
so
that shot.
confusing.
Yeah.
It must be so confusing. You have at the same time both ultimates hitting right on everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the
Look at Toby, man.
the-
Here it just went wild.
one of the aim of Noetic was like to decoy,
Yeah.
like throwing crowd controls everywhere. Just
The fight before kind of
Look at
decided
this
it.
chaos.
This was the last nail in the coffin. Just look at Kazuko's ulti here, followed up by another heroic entrance coming out from Toby. I think the Silas pick was just so good, and I mentioned it earlier. It is like hard to execute, and Toby did it to perfection here.
And I think Drolex is really impactful. Look, I mean, he's taking so much, and he knows exactly when he has to turn around and leave the fight for the rest of the team.
I think the big mistake here is Xenios actually just diving in for the enemy backline here and not trying to defend his very squishy members of the backline in Guzi and Flow Snake, but rather going for a backline. I mean, there is no real backline. There's Tito, and that's it. And the other 4 members of Noetic, they're just like charging forward,
Yeah,
and there's nothing that will
and
stop
the
them.
curious thing about it is, I mean, I've experienced this as an AD carry main. It's like when you're alone, because everybody just jumps in and goes in,
And you're
right,
like,
and
guys?
suddenly you have 3 or 2 members of the enemy team coming right at you,
Guys,
and you
help.
cannot do anything.
Yeah.
But it was not the case. I mean, Tito was, I don't know, only once or twice was he attacked by anybody, because they had so much to deal with already. They could not turn around and just could not ignore what was happening to their backline and to their front lane as well.
Yeah. I think in terms of team fighting, Noetic here definitely with the upper hand, and they also played it super well.
Yeah.
As I said, it was kind of unlucky that Dragon went over to the side of Noetic from the perspective of Sparks, of course. But that's just how it sometimes goes, and they played super well to that advantage they built in the early to mid game, and in the end they just had an unstoppable lead essentially, and after that Elder fight it was just a done deal basically.
No, I mean, there's nothing you can do at this point of the game.
Yeah.
Very very hardly.
But
well.
even more, we're now looking forward, of course, to game number 2, but not until we head into a short break. So you can also get something to drink, maybe some snacks, and then get back to us here live on stream to witness the second game between Noetic, Frost, and Sparks Esports. Until then.
Never fade out.
What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Did you already miss us? We're back here for some more League of Legends action here in the Swisscom Heroleague, powered by ESL, with of course my dear colleague here in Strawberry Pie himself.
You said it like so beautifully.
Strawberry Pie?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't whisper stuff like that into my ear.
I know. You can't focus in. And of course, my name being Don Rigoni. Don't forget to follow us, of course, on our social medias, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and basically anywhere you manage to find us, of course, as we had quite an intense year to kick off this season 4 here in League of Legends. I mean, that was just great play here, especially on both sides, to be honest, but especially Noetic Frost adapting so well to that draft coming out from Sparks, and yeah, that was like the like I said before the break, like they were a sledgehammer, and I think Sparks got hit in the face by that quite hard.
Yeah, it was quite painful to watch at some point in the end of the game, but it's true that it's kind of, you know, when it flipped, you know, it's at this Drake fight when they just lost it because it was just a matter of seconds.
Smite was like too late, or I didn't see it go down.
But
he
like
was
busy.
On 10
he was just busy.
But like on 10 HP, that can happen, and there's not really, there's not really too much blame to throw out.
No,
but that is, of course, something that can tilt you if you realize, if you know exactly, okay, that was where we kind of lost it. And with that, the whole game could have looked. Without that, the whole game could have looked differently. And it's also like really important here for Sparks to like mentally recover, take a break, take a breather, and prepare adequately. Forget about the first game, head into the second draft phase, and the game, of course, right away, and just improve what kind of went wrong during that first game.
I think that's the first step they need to take is like consider there was something wrong.
Yeah.
Because there was.
Absolutely.
And what it was and how will they manage to change it? Of course, the Nidalee ban. That's no surprise.
No real surprise. Neither is the bar there on the side of Sparks has to take down. I could see the Hecarim being banned out here on the side of Sparks this time, because for me that kind of was the biggest problem. Silas, yeah, it was problematic, but that was also kind of largely by how it kind of snowballed and how fast top laners got quite a few kills. Yeah, and overall, I think the Hecarim was really the biggest problem. Plus, also to some extent, like picking the Galio into the there it is. Picking the Galio into the Silas, of course, also always provides your opponent with such a strong tool.
Yeah,
Outside
I mean
of
they
that,
had so much crowd control already without that, and that's just
have more, have it like AOE and on a fed Silas. That's problematic. There's the Grave now being banned out on the side of Noetic. So a small adaptation there on both sides so far. Last time it was it the Morgana that was banned out? Oh no, the Gangplank. They banned the Gangplank. This time GP will remain open here, as Sparks is thinking about the last ban.
I kind of expected the Graves ban at the first game as well.
They banned the Caitlyn here once again. That of course leaves the Senna open here for Noetic, and they might just opt for that. No, it's actually going to be Vladimir that's Howard. That would be interesting. Toby, a player who plays that champion a lot, but first picking it, you're like asking to get countered. Okay, never mind. It will be the Ashe again for Noetic Frost here. So he just wanted to flash it there a little bit and just throw out the potential, because they left it open here. And it said decided to ban out the Hecarim. I mean, the standard counter we'd see into a Vladimir top lane would be the Kled, because you have that essentially free healing reduction, and you can like really fight him early on without Vlad really being able to retaliate. And it will be the Jhin here on the side of Sparks. So even if there will be a similar comp coming out from Noetic, it's going to be the Karthus here for Tushi. That's a nice adaptation. I like that.
I mean, they're not aiming for the early game, are they?
Yeah, this time definitely not. And they also already have pretty much enough damage for their game plan. However that will go, I mean, between a Jhin and a Karthus. But Kazuko will secure himself the Evelynn here, champion that we've seen come up more and more actually after her most recent buffs that were originally targeted at making her potentially viable to lane with. She's just like taken off in the jungle. It's like, yeah, it's one of those really interesting things. But of course, it also makes her so much better at like ganking and team fighting and stuff. As we see the Silas here once again for the side of Noetic. Kind of surprised to pick it. Well, to pick it preemptively, but it already makes sense into the Karthus. Because you can just steal away the Requiem, and then you essentially have the same amount of burst, depending on whether he gets that ahead. Again, it can be even more, of course, as we see the Ornn this time being picked up on the side of Sparks. They hovered the GP prior to that, but decided to go for the really, really tanky Forge God here. And I already like the draft of Sparks a lot better than their first one.
I think again,
especially because there's no Syra probably.
Again, I think the win conditions are very different here again, because it's more oriented. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah,
no Vladimir
no
for
Vladimir.
you this time.
Yeah, I don't think they would go for a Vladimir, because then they would like be really heavy into AP damage, and that would just.
And I think it doesn't fit. They're more like pick.
Yep.
Style there. I don't think they want to hard engage 5v5. I mean, look at that. Jhin, Karthus, and Ornn already.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be worse. I think they're gonna even pick one more just to for good measure, you know.
Honestly, I would really see a Morgana here on the side of Sparks, because it just helps so much against the like all the three champions that have been picked so far. But it will be the Soraka that's banned out here on the side of Noetic. And yeah, I think this will be the Morgana here.
That would make
Morgana, of
sense.
course, is so much value into these AP junglers that are on the rise, and when there's an Ashe on the table as well, that Black Shield just gets so much value to be able to disable that CC essentially. Plus, also, like, it gives you so much additional HP when there's a lot of magic damage. So.
And I think the ultimate of Morgana is just fitting perfectly in the composition of Sparks there. I mean, they can just buy enough time for Morgana to go in and just Karthus to do whatever he has to do.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and you have such good zone controls as well. There we have the Karma now being picked up. She's like the classic counter into a Morgana, because you can just essentially ping off that Dark Shield with a Montrod Inner Flame. That's her Q. And make, like, get rid of it as quickly as possible, and then still enable some form of CC. But so far there's like a lot of magic damage currently on the side of Noetic, as they lock in the Camille here, who rounds out that damage profile quite nicely there. And of course gets to scale more or less for free into an Ornn.
And like an Orianna would be
Orianna would
very
be
nice.
pretty
fitting.
nuts here. He also, like Merok, he also plays a lot of Akali and hovers that. And I could also see that one, because so far there's no tank on the side of Noetic.
Yeah.
And if Akali likes something in this world, then it's squishy targets.
And they need a finisher. I think they definitely need it, and there it is.
Yeah, absolutely. More, I mean, they have such a also pretty good damage profile here. Also, both of these teams heavy when it comes to magic damage here. But then again, that of course only benefits something like a Jhin, who is just basically stacking AD, and when it just does not make sense to stack armor in a comp like that, even less, because they are essentially all carry champions to a certain extent. Then Jhin will just have a field day. But again, like Noetic Frost, they have a lot of CC, not as much like backline access this time, and the Morgana Black Shield makes it quite a bit harder too. So this time we might be looking at quite a bit of a more equal game here. And yeah, by the way, the big adaptation here is that Eliogal will actually be taking the Sylas to the mid lane instead of Toby in the top. So there's already one adaptation there coming out. Plus this time we have the side of Sparks without the teleport. And I think I quite like that Akali wants to really play for the lane here, get to her item spike as soon as possible. She has some quite good early wave clear. Sylas of course as well with his passive.
He just I was expecting he changed his ignite to a teleport, the Sylas.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I didn't see it immediately.
Oh, okay.
But I was wondering, like, I mean, you're not wanting to fight like 5v5 heavy fights there. You just, what you want is like to split push, and you want to force the enemy to split.
Yeah.
Because that's where you get them. Because in pure 5v5, I mean, they're just gonna stomp you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Morgana flashes in, presses her soul shackles.
They have so
Akali
much.
dives your backline,
They have
and
so much
Karthus
tools.
presses ult.
That's it.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you of course have the call of the Forge God coming out from Xenios. But then again, it's like the Sylas again just makes so much sense here once more into Sparks' comp. Because he can just steal away whatever he pleases. He has access to the Call of the Forge God, he can steal the Requiem, but also the Soul Shackles can be very, very strong on a champion like Sylas, because he does not only build a lot of AP, but he of course also has a lot of mobility, so he can really look to stick to his targets and then enable that second proc of the Soul Shackles, dealing even more damage, and of course locking them all down. As once again we have a beautiful shot here coming into Summoner's Rift. Cloud Dragon will be the first one to spawn. Yeah, something I also like to throw out is the big S word, of course. The scaling aspect of it all, because like I think Sparks would be happy with the game just like lasting 40 minutes and no kills happening. I think he'd be pretty fine with that.
But that's not what Noetic is.
Oh wow,
looking
okay,
towards.
Xenios there jumping in. Oh, Drolex already has to use the flash there. Very well done here. Also uses the ignite, so no summoners whatsoever there in the bot lane. Xenios, of course, had to start with his E. That will hinder him a little bit in the lane, but it's not like he'd had the best lane into a Camille anyways. But that's actually big. Drolex without flash or ignite here. That will enable some nice possible engages here.
Yeah, and they're not even requiring Tushi to come in. I mean, just a good crowd control, and that could be it.
Yeah.
They have the potential on the lane to pressure enough, and I think that's gonna build some space around Tushi in his jungle, so he can just chilly do whatever he has to do. Pressure, but should be in favor of Sparks.
Yeah, hard leash there as well from the side of Sparks. We might have to switch the overlay on top real quickly. Yeah, we just did. Perfect. my spectators, or our spectators, are ahead of me there already. And we can see there, Karth is already looking for that full clear, of course. They also warded out the top side jungle entrance there just to secure this. Just to secure no entry whatsoever. As yeah, bot lane here will be hard, of course, being poked out by those mantra Qs as well as a ton of volleys. Will of course be a bit painful here for the side of Sparks, but their goal is not really to land any catches. It's of course good if it happens, but they can just scale up and be fine with it, as Xenios taking some bad trades here in top lane. The Camille into Ornn matchup is of course, as I mentioned, pretty tough here for the Ornn. So there's the true damage coming out from Toby, and Tushi's now coming into the top.
Tushi coming in with the blue buff and the red buff, dealing huge
Oh,
damage.
wow.
There is no reason to flash. You know when
wow.
certain death knocks
my
at
gosh.
your door, and that was Tushi flashing. What is he doing?
I don't think that was intentional, to be honest.
I think he just realized what he did.
Yeah, I think so too. Sure, he can flip there.
Well, nobody knew. Nobody knows. Okay.
And we had it
Let's
on
keep it a
stream.
secret.
Yeah. If somebody clipped that, please DM it to me at Don_Rigoni on Twitter.
And
I
tag
really
him.
want to use that against him.
Oh, David
Flow
goes
Snake
the
now
cage
being
hitting,
up a
but
good
there
dark
is
binding here coming out, but Drolex with a ton of damage here. As Flow Snake managed to root him up there, and Flow Snake just has to recall here, going super low. And the Ashe from Tito, he's already up 10 farm here in that bot lanes.
and
Flow Snake will just lose another wave.
And Drolex had no summoners.
Yeah.
I mean, they just ignored that fact and just pressured enough for Flow Snake to fall behind so early.
Well, to be honest, there's not too much they can do into this wave, because Karma's early game damage is honestly broken for support. Plus, she also has that shield. That makes it very tough here for them to basically do anything. And at this point, like, the game plan for Sparks here can literally be just stall it out until like 2 items, and then you can start fighting, because their champions just scale so much better. Especially when you have also an Ornn on top and you're looking at those early Ornn upgrades. I mean, you can upgrade the death caps on the Akali as well as the Karthus, which is just after Trinity Fusion. The Rabadon's Death Crown is probably the most worth upgrade there is. And yeah, there we can also see the Cull coming in for Flow Snake, who realizes, okay, I'm not gonna have too great of a time in the spot lane, so let's just make the best out of the situation.
Let's turn up the music and AFK
yeah,
farm.
just do like farming simulator for a bit. And yeah, the Ashe here instead opts. It looks like this time he will opt again for an early Essence Weaver here on that Ashe. as he's still very, very ahead. They have a freeze being set up here in the bottom lane. And yeah, TP now, Leogal coming back into lane. As you mentioned previously, they of course have the access to that teleport. But the Akali, once he manages to complete his Hextech Gunblade, will certainly start looking for those ganks. And if Leogal can't follow up in time, Nötig will just have a bad time here.
Drops to Xenios, coming back with the farm, keeping up. Which is pretty impressive, considering this, like, how it went first.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
well, of course, you die on the top lane, that makes some room for the farm.
And it also was the opportunity for real Xenios to catch back up in terms of farming. As one of the highest farms is actually in that top lane right now. No, it's on the Ashe, never mind. But closely behind that, there's also the Karthus, and Karthus and Evelyn, they're just battling it out, who can farm faster here. And what helps massively at this point is of course Tushi getting that first blood. That means he will have access to his runic echoes earlier. Some action there going down in the bottom
going
lane.
in. They know Tushi can back up. They're
Tushi
going in right now. Ultimate
down.
not available yet, but the flash and the heal
Oh wow, nice
is being
flashes.
used. And that's a cage that hits.
Oh!
Meanwhile,
Happy feet. Oh my gosh, there with the smite, I think Tushi manages to secure that there in the bottom left corner. And that's a 3-0 Karthus right now. That hurts. Good knock up there onto the Evelyn. Flashes out. Xenios there. Okay, nice ult there used by Kazuko. They manages to trade one back there in the top lane.
And the Drake is taken by Sparks, which is pretty a good trade. I mean, they're so well in the game for now. I mean, okay, Ornf is falling a little bit behind with that push, but taking the Drake, giving 2 more kills on the Karthus is just awful, and you don't want this to happen at all.
Oh,
But
Tito might just get a solo kill here, or a 2v1 kill here. Oh, nice curtain call there, but I think he has to cancel that. Uses the flash there as well, but Tito flashing out of the way of that third
But it's
shot
not
there.
over.
But Tushi is back again.
Tushi is back, and he's hungry for some more souls
Wall
to
of
take.
Pain, really making use of that name there. But Guzi, scumbag Guzi, taking the kill there on his Morgana. But that was just like playing it on a knife's edge there.
Careful. I mean, he's not.
Yeah.
Jolex.
Tushi was just counter jungling there, and he'll recall now, and look at that, he has a full jungle up that he can just clear through. Already has 3 kills, and the runic echoes completed now, as well as a ruby crystal on top of it, just for good measure. I think he might even go for like an early Leandris here, or at least the haunting guys. Yeah, so this Karthus, he will be hard to stop when you have a look at the gold here. Does not look that big actually. He's up 600 gold at this point. Tushi, that is. Because of course, Kazuko got that kill in the top lane there as a Leogal potentially gets caught.
But there is backup. The arrow hitting from the right. Tito going in. Careful, Kazuko has a huge amount of damage.
Oh my
He's
gosh!
taking the shutdown on Tushi, which is going to be a lot more
Marok now dashing, and Tushi taking another kill with his passive there. And they actually trade 1 for 1, but that shutdown going over to Kazuko is of course really, really huge. That Evelyn likes that quite a lot, and Toby's now just cutting the wave here. He's already gotten 3 turret plates in that top lane, and just proxies the full wave.
The thing is, I mean, look, the Kazuko is taking kills, he's taking damage, so he has this huge potential of taking down easy targets. But the thing is, equally, Tushi is taking as many kills. I mean, he's even taking more kills. And at this point, you can be anywhere on the map. You can do whatever you want. Tushi's ult is gonna kill you.
Yeah, absolutely. Kazuko didn't even have to use his ulti there, And I think the big mistake there, I think there was a bit of a communication error here from Sparks, because they saw the Ashe there moving up and Flowsnake was still stuck under tower trying to get some farm under his belt. And they just had no vision in the enemy jungle. They were also standing on top of a ward, which makes it a lot harder, of course, as well. And yeah, it was a bit of an overstep there from the side of Sparks. But I mean, all the power to them that they even managed to get an equal trade out of it, a kind of equal trade. If we deduct the fact that there was a shutdown going over as the Requiem comes down and Flowsnake just takes down Tito down there. And see, at this point, it's just not a fair fight anymore if you're an AD carry. Because like all the time, there's just a Karthus ult on top of it all.
Just two ultimates and you're dead.
Yeah, and Tushy also scoops down there as well, takes yet another kill onto Drawlex, which yeah, is his 5th kill already in this game. And yeah, they're looking quite comfortably actually. If you have a 5-1 Karthus at 12 minutes, that is also level 9 by the way, which is the 2nd highest level in the game here. And yeah, after level 9, it will just ramp up even faster, because I said it at the very start, we had those jungle changes a while back that just gives you more XP in those later levels, and Tushy on that level 9 will now profit off of that.
The thing is, you don't stop a Karthus, you just make his growth slower.
Yes.
But that's not
like too late.
what you're doing there, Noetic. So I mean, this is gonna be the worst time, I think, of many of them, because they have no real tanks. And if you really want to make the game harder for yourself, well, you feed the only guy that can actually hit all of you at the same time.
Yeah. And he also has his boots completed. He has an Oblivion Orb on top of it. Noetic here, they get the 2nd dragon here, a mountain dragon that is, and we're looking at an Ocean Rift here. And yeah, either team of course would like that, but you said it, like, you want to stop. Okay, nice last caress there coming out from Koziko, flashing forward and taking down Merok with it. Well played there from the side of Noetic. But what I was about to say is, like, yeah, try to take down a Karthus, because you can't, as you said, you can't really stop him, but you can kill him. You want to kill him as fast as possible, so he's only dealing damage in his passive, which is bad enough. Okay, Koziko, I don't really know if you want to do this, my friend.
It was close though.
Yeah.
Still no Zonias on Tushy, but well, now he's closer to it.
Yes, but I don't think he'll go for the Sonia.
Not immediately.
He'll probably go for a Ravelance right away. Just one-shot people. Because, once again, there are no tanks on the side of Noetic. This will be hard. This Karthus is a problem. Definitely.
And again, if you look at the win condition, as we said earlier, I mean, you know that Noetic is not really going to face fights 5v5, because they're not winning at this game, unless they are so much ahead they just can roll over the enemy team, which is not the case. And the problem is, so what's the win condition? Well, one of the win conditions is like to force Sparks to split, because they pressure everywhere at the same time. They have 2 teleports. They could potentially force the enemy team to split, and then with good vision take down a few members of it, and then you know, like, this leads to another fight and another fight, another pick, and just do not let them gather and fight. But the thing is, I mean, even now, if they try it, well, again, Tushy can just hit everyone at the same time with one click.
Can I quickly draw your attention to, like, the item screen? I mean, we talked previously on how well, like, bot lane initially went for Noetic, and the Ashe was, like, up quite a bit of CS. She's still up those 10 CS, but if you look at the inventory, there's a Caulfield's Warhammer plus an agility cloak and boots. And on the side of Flowsnake, you already have the Stormrazor completed, and he didn't even finish his cull yet. So just with all those 5 assists and Tito, of course, dying 4 times because Karthus ult is just unfair. Yeah, he's kind of having quite a bad time, but it's good that he managed to keep up in farm, and we saw the individual gold previously. Kazuko is coming down into the bot lane here.
Look at the damage. That's what you want to do with your Evelyn. It's just like popping out and hello, I can instant kill you, but it's not happening yet. And the thing is, Tushy is there, and the arrow is hitting, but wait, that's not gonna be enough. You might kill me, but then I'm still here, and I make huge pressure. And look at this damage! My goodness.
Toby onto Flow Snake there in the backline, used the Hextech ultimatum. Good Call of the Forge God now coming out. Leo got going low here. Double kill there for Toby. Good teleport there. He was faster on that roam down Ken, Merok, and Xenios turn this around, as this was in fact a 3-for-2 trade here in favor of Noetic. But they want more. Evelyn damage is just so disgusting.
Well, that's
like, honestly.
Okay, let's go for a tweet. That's sweet.
Yeah, we need a breathe. Nerf Tushy. Hashtag ESL Smith from Torix there. Yeah, I think that's kind of too late, as he's already at 7-2 here.
You can't nerf that.
Yeah, he has been part of all the kills actually so far. He's also level 11 at this point. Eliogal still at the highest level in the game, has managed to hold that position. But it's pretty insane if your jungler has the same level as your 2 solo laners. Same, of course, also being the case on the side of Noetic. But Evelyn and Karthus, they basically do a very similar thing. Just like, yeah, Evelyn one-shots one person. Karthus one-shots everybody.
And that's no fun, I can tell you that.
Absolutely not, absolutely not. But I think one big point we should still point out is Toby, who's so far actually in the lead by quite a bit. And we saw him there against Flowsnake. He, of course, has a very, very big potential to just collapse onto him with the hookshot as well as the Hextech ultimatum. And that will make it quite tough for Flowsnake to have.
They're still
any impact
chasing them away, as Merok is still not there. Oh, and the flash in from
Kazuko!
And it's an instant kill on the Kafros that is way behind the backlane, so he cannot help at all. So Kusi is being the next target right after Xenios, and that's a 5-man death.
That's a clean ace here coming out, nearly clean ace. They only lose the support here on the side of Noetic. What a play there coming out from Kazuko, just landing that charm onto Tushy, flashing over the wall and instantly one-shotting him with the last caress there. Huge play coming out, and then after that it just followed up so well there with the Camille onto Flowsnake, and now they are heavily in the lead in this game, up 2.5k gold actually. Let's have a look at this.
Look at this. I told you one of the one conditions could be they just go in and instant kill everybody because they are fed, but they don't need to be fed. Kazuko is fed, and that's enough to take this Kalphas down in a half a second. And from this point there's nothing you can do. Your main damage is dead, and it's way too far behind to use its passive in any sort of way. So excellent execution from Noetic.
On the lower screen here, Guzi dying and quickly flashing back to the replay. Just our observers just like showing dead Guzi here tonight. And now it's just become a lot harder here for Sparks to win this. What has previously looked like a pretty, no, I wouldn't say a done deal because it was still very equal, has now really turned into Noetic's favor here, and they're up now 3.5k, managing to take down all the outer turrets already, as they're all still standing here on the side of Noetic. And the Camille is just so huge. 4-1 has the Trinity Force as well as that Ravenous Hydra. So there's just no way anyone can ever face Toby here in a side lane.
Well, one problem I see here is that they couldn't, at last fight at least, they couldn't execute their plan properly. They just got caught out, and this cannot happen again. What we have here.
Oh, we had another solo kill there actually
dying
in the bottom lane.
And that's what you cannot face Toby. You
Nope.
can't. Don't try it.
Yeah, just back away. Just let her push you in, farm underneath the tower, and
there
hope.
goes Eliogal.
Yeah, Eliogal will not make this.
That's a bot tower probably.
Yeah.
There's there's a teleport available on Xenios, but that's not gonna help.
They used the Enchanter Crystal arrow there, hit it
Oh,
on to Tushi there, and they used the Herald here in the bot lane.
And Drolex is winning time.
Tier tower.
Drolex is winning time, so this Herald can hit the second time, not taking the tower. But at least, I mean, it's the beginning of a hole.
Yeah. This is super big here for the side of Noetic, because it of course gives them a lot of access onto the map, but it makes it a lot harder for the Camille, because as we're reaching 22-minute mark here, okay, because he could just go
that was close
in there
but
again.
That's what he wants to do. It's like in between the objectives.
Yeah.
He's there. He's lurking around because that's where people are crossing the jungle carelessly, not knowing that there's this predator lurking around, and that's when he has to hit.
I'm still not fully sure how good that is that they got down these the second tier turrets so early. The big thing is, of course, you can force the Karthus out of his jungle that way, and with that really limit his heavy farming. As I'm being told, we have another team here. Go Sparks! We want game number 3. Brackets and nerf Tushi. Hashtag ESL.
Don't forget.
Thank you very much, Torix. That's sounds about true. We really do want the game 3 after these 2 first games here, because they've been looking quite intense. But I'm massively impressed here by the side of Noetic. You've just done super well here in both of those.
And there are going all 5 members right to the Drake. There's no teleport on Merrick. He cannot withstand the split push of Toby. Toby has his teleport available, so does Eliogal. So they're just gonna wait there and gonna let Toby push, and as soon as they try to go in, like now, it should be the teleport. Not coming yet.
Oh wow, Kasiko, they're just jumping into the backline once again. Eliogal stealing away the Requiem there.
Oh my goodness.
Toby takes down
That's
top lane turret. Goosey with a big ulti here, but look at the damage. Look at Tushi above all.
I
Still
mean,
no teleport from
they
Toby.
handled this fight 4v5, and they manage.
Okay, Drolex now, he will die to the Requiem. It's just no way. Xenios is now trying to stop the Camille here in the top lane, but the Hextech ultimatum is used. Can he get out of this? Sparks managed to take down
And
Dragon
flash
here.
out.
Xenios can flash out of that one. Managed to take him down. Meanwhile, Eliogal taking out Marok here. And Tushi just says, thank you very much. I'll take my 11th kill. And yeah, big part here at the moment is Xenios just hit level 13. So now he finally has his Ornn upgrades. Toby potentially overextended here.
I kind of think there's some mistakes in the execution of the plan there, because obviously they did not want Toby to teleport in, because he would have done it way earlier, and he didn't. So why in the hell did they go back and try to force kills there?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either. I mean, they realized they got Sparks really low early, as we can see here again, with Kalsiko flashing in onto Flow Snake.
Tito playing with fire there.
Yeah, look at this. Now he gets in, he nearly birds out Flow Snake. Great flash there from him. And then Eliogal also has the Requiem, uses that, and gets everyone super low. But now, big zoning ult here coming out from Goosey. And now they just have no cooldowns. They're down a man, they have no cooldowns, and they're still a super fat
that's the
Karthus
point where
on
they
the enemy
should
team.
have left.
Yeah. Because here, Sparks, they still have all their cooldowns up essentially. They still have the curtain call here. Tushi still has the Requiem. They lose the turret there in bot lane, in top lane, and as I say that, Kazuko just one-shots Flow Snake here this time.
That's not, I mean, AD carries at this game have a very bad time.
Especially against an Evelyn. It's just no fun, and that can just happen over and over again, and it will be quite hard here for Sparks to stand up to that. I actually could see Flow Snake opting for a Hex Drinker here in the Maw of Marmortius to just avoid being targeted by that Evelyn over and over. Because like Tushi getting one shot is also bad, but at least if they're on an objective, they can still retaliate because they have his passive, they have the Requiem, and yeah, can make big use of that. As a look at the farm here, Tushi nearly has as much farm as the enemy top laner here. And he already is at 3.5 items. I'm actually curious when Xenios hits level 13, or no, he's already level 14, so he has this Upborn upgrade available, whether that will be the Rabadon's Death Crown on Tushi, which is like my main guess, or the Molten Edge on Flow Snake. Here we can
look at this gold
yeah.
difference. I mean, on the top lane, it's awful. It's 4.5 thousand gold, and they're now trying to rush this Nash, but it's been spotted, and we have Xenios coming in, but they know it, and they will stop it. As Toby is split pushing, they're just gonna lurk around. They're just gonna stay there and try again and again because Xenios cannot hold this Toby, and
they kind of have to, like Sparks kind of have to engage here. They have to pull their Ornn over or collapse onto Toby here, who is just
they don't have teleport.
Nope.
And that's what is killing them. They cannot go back. They cannot let Nash happen. They are in a terrible position.
Yeah.
But they have to pick something because not picking something is giving everything.
And Noetic here, they're playing this super well. They're just drawing them out here, enabling Toby to keep on pushing in that bottom lane as he gets the inhibitor there at the 28 minutes. Oh, Tushi nicely flashing out of the way here.
And that's Flow Snake is being crowd controlled.
Oh wow!
And instantly
Look at Toby
destroyed while Tushi follows. Goosey dying as well. This ultimate has been launched and 2 kills are being taken.
Oh wow! Toby, he is still very low, but he heals up with that Ravenous Hydra. That actually was a 3-for-3 trade here.
But it's not
and
worth.
Toby now wants to go in onto Xenios here, who's massively overextended at this point. Wants to get in onto Eliogal, but he will just fall here to the both of them. And yeah, Sparks, they don't have the greatest of wave clear here. I don't think Akali can really hold this. Will he try? He could just get dove here. No. He'll probably just back out.
He could, but will he? I don't think so.
3 naked inhibs here on the side of Sparks. A massive 6k gold lead at this point for Noetic Frost. That Camille is just so huge. You could see him there. He jumped in onto Flow Snake and basically one-shot him with his second Q.
Oh, the ultimate of
Goodbye,
Tito
Flow Snake.
Returning this fight
Goodbye,
into a 2-for-0. And that's the Drake, and that very likely should be the Nash.
Toby is smurfing this game, like this entire series. Already in the first one, he really popped off, and on this Camille, he looks even stronger, man. 8-1 with Trinity Force, Ravenous Hydra, and the Death Dance completed. There's just no way you ever take her down as they're making their way onto the Baron here once again. Toby, meanwhile, holding it in mid lane.
I mean, he can do it alone. Just like you guys are not passing this.
Yeah. There's no vision here on the side. They have the blue trinket available, which they could use.
He's just
Probably
going in
smell it
1v3. He's not caring at all, and it works because the burst is big enough. Oh, that's problematic.
And okay, they get the shot down there at the very least, so it's a 1-for-1 trade there onto the jungler, and that actually incentivizes Noetic to back off the Baron here. Drolex still stepping forward, and Lucy now has to get out here as Xenios just getting caught again. Trying to get out here. Flow Snake now stepping forward, but man, you're in a really, really bad spot here. Merok now trying to get in a flank.
Tito flashes that cage properly, escaping. Just
gets tagged there. Bind. Oh. Curtain call there, missing onto Tito. That could have netted him a kill, I think, with that 4th shot. But once again, Sparks kind of biting off more than they can chew here, as Xenios was just overextended there, and they had to push into an Ashe and a Giga-fed Camille at this point.
And by the way, she just took an Guardian Angel.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you can, just make sure you don't give over that shutdown. As we see the Molten Edge now coming out for Flow Snake. That is, of course, huge. I mean, the gold difference, it is about 7,000 gold in favor of Noetic at this point. But all the gold, basically, on the side of Sparks is located on that Karthus. He's at 16k gold right now. There we see
there
another
goes the arrow, and it hits again.
Oh,
Tushi dying
Tushi
all
just
alone.
Done. And Flow Snake is also gone.
And ladies and gentlemen, I think that's the last fight
Yes.
Sparks is having in this game, because right after that, they're running towards Nexus, taking down an inhibitor if needed, and finishing off this game.
They already have the inhibitor down in the bot lane. I think Xenios just wants to try and take out the minions there, but he will just get dove underneath his Nexus towers. And Toby was just such a huge factor in this series, man. That Camille just was incredible, but also the coordination there. Enchant the Crystal Arrow coming down onto Tushi, and then the Camille jumping onto him with that Hextech ultimatum, just eliminating him and nuking him from the map. And then it was just a 4v5, and you had those 16,000 gold Karthus off the map. Yeah, he can ult, but at this point you're far enough ahead just sheerly by levels.
You don't
HP.
care anymore.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, yeah, this is fine, just like shrug it off. Plus then also like Toby just right after taking down the Karthus, jumps over the wall with a hook shot, flashes onto Flow Snake. There was no black shield, so he also goes down. And yeah, just like big carry performance here coming out from Toby, which goes back to the point that you mentioned earlier with those star players. I mean, in the first game, yeah, Drolex had a really good game, and in the second one, the bot lane was struggling quite a bit, but just with that agency that Toby had on that Camille, Tito was just fine throwing out those enchanted crystal arrows. Kazuko also having a huge performance on that Evelyn.
That's where it shifted.
Yeah.
I think that's where it shifted when he flashed in at this dragon near the dragon pit on the bot side. When he flashed in on that Karthus, taking him out far behind every member of the team. I think that's where it shifted.
Yeah, there it was like, oh damn, okay, Kazuko.
I'm probably sure we're gonna have it in the highlights.
Yes, we can
which
have a look.
Running into right now
at some of the best moments here.
And I think we're going to see an evolution in the fights, because, well, what's happening? Okay, you have Tushi that is getting fed, huge kills, and what's the plan for Noetic? Well, the plan for Noetic was either, well, we try to scale as good as we can, and then we just force splits and try to win with the 2 teleports we have and the individual damage we have on every champion.
Yeah.
That was the first plan. But then,
I mean, this was just great action originally coming out from Sparks, and they were incredibly ahead here.
I mean, everything went wrong early, but then suddenly they realized, well,
this was also big.
Yeah.
Camille getting a double kill here.
And
he was first on the TP, was already onto Flow Snake when Xenios came in. They were split here, and then Merok was late on that rotation there, and then Camille manages to get a double kill there, and after that point it basically became impossible for Xenios to hold it against.
And both Kazuko and Toby, no, the
This
three of them.
is the big moment here.
They took, yeah, that's it. He flashes in, he sees the opportunity.
Yeah, and then
he just takes it. It was
Q, and
so close.
Right on the edge there.
Yeah,
Then
that's
once
awful.
again, Toby is just on point with those hook shots, and he had Flow Snake's number that game. He was just
and I
so
think
good.
it's at this point when they realize, hey, you know what? We don't need to wait scaling and try to do stuff while splitting. We can just go right at it, finding the right opportunities. And I think Noetic has been far better reading and finding these opportunities.
Yeah.
Where they can just take down the peak element of the enemy team and just deal with the game. I mean, look at that.
This was also like just, yeah, face checking into the Evelyn there.
I mean, I think that's map control, that's map awareness, and also it's opportunity awareness.
This was also big here. There was no black shield there coming out. It was a little late, and then Toby just jumping in onto Flow Snake. And look at that second iteration there of that Q. Yeah, I mean, look, this is just beautiful as well. Corvus damage is just, it's something. And there, yeah, he's reading his book. That was the game-winning play there. There we see the Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming in.
I mean, it wasn't
even necessary.
It wasn't.
Yeah, and then just the one shot.
But that's exactly what you don't want to do. I mean, you have limited vision.
Yeah.
And you know that Kazuko had understood that there is no way he's going with the team on the lane and just like, hello, I'm Evelyn.
After taking down the bottom tier 2 with the Herald quite early, Toby was like, okay, this bottom jungle is mine now.
Yeah.
If you step in here, I will make sure you die. And I think there was a big overstay there.
And
by,
the worst
by
is,
Tushi.
it's not even Kazuko that was there. It's just Toby. I mean,
Yeah.
there was, they could have avoided it.
Yeah,
they could have.
There was a lot of unavoidable mistakes on the side of Sparks. I think they couldn't quite shrug it off from the first game, to be honest. It seemed like they seemed really hesitant. In the beginning, it was like going super well for them. But I think at that moment, as you said, around that dragon fight where they lost Tushi early, and then instead of like backing off, decided to like try and get something back a little bit, and they lost a lot. After that point, I think they were becoming really hesitant and also kind of uncoordinated. Like I said, like Xenios was oftentimes in the wrong places around the wrong time. He also had some very kind of weird item choices, since he went for the adaptive helm like first instead of going Sunfire, and also like not the Warden's Mail, can I say it? The other component of the Thorn Mail.
Oh, the vest, the Bramble Vest.
Yes, exactly. The Bramble Vest early, which does so much against the Camille. And you like, if you want to be the one facing the Camille or stand any chance whatsoever against her, you have to build that armor. And yeah, the Kevlin, the Evelyn can be dangerous, but you're as the tank in the top lane, you're not worried about their AP jungler.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah. You have to be worried about that Camille that will go onto your AD carry, and you have to tank for him. And yeah, I kind of disagree there with his choices, but overall, like, Noetic played super well once again.
Yeah, I think they executed.
Really clean draft, and as I said before, like big carry performance by Toby. I didn't know him before today, actually, but he seems to be a really good player on his top lane champions.
Yeah.
So we actually have a special feature now for the season 4 here in the Swisscom Heroleague. We'll be actually doing a winners interview, and for that we have our guest here live on camera from the winning team. I hope we can get him in here any second to answer us some questions, or what was their secret behind that win, and especially like what looked like some pretty good draft preparations they had coming into this. We'll have to check in here. Might take a okay.
All right. So it should be ready. We should go right into the interview. And let's go.
There we have him. Good evening.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. The
So
game were close, but we managed to go over it, so we are happy.
yeah, absolutely. I can see that. We have Eliogal, the captain here from Noetic, live with us. How does that feel, managing to take down Sparks in such an intense two-game series?
Well, honestly, we weren't so well prepared. Like, we are playing especially for fun with a couple of friends. So it felt great because we didn't feel so much pressure going into the match. And we had a lot of fun, actually. Even if it felt maybe a bit tense, we were laughing the whole games. Personally, I played not so good the first game, but I managed to recover the second one. So I'm pretty happy with our wins today.
Yeah, you managed to snag quite a few solo kills there onto Merrick in that second game. Let's talk about the games a little separately. Actually, in the first one, I think the big part for you guys was the Silas in the top lane from Toby, and then of course Kaziko's Hecarim.
Yeah, I mean, Silas snowballed really hard, and once you have 45% steer on Silas, the pick gets really OP, and plus the fact we had really great ults in the enemy team, so Toby did a really great job snowballing his lead and then playing with us. It was not that easy for us because Shen was also really ahead, and we had some trouble winning some fights, but I mean, generally we end up getting every Drake, so it was quite good.
Yeah, that Drake was quite punishing there. I don't know whether you saw it on the stream as well, but it was at 10 HP.
Yep, I saw it definitely.
Yeah, when Toby took that, and I think that was a big part in your victory there in the first game. And yeah, as we discussed before, you had so much backline access. And did you feel sorry for Flow Snake there on his Senna?
Honestly, a bit, yes, because like playing versus Galio ulti because of Silas, plus the fact Hecarim has so much mobility, like it was really hard for him to do great fights, and yeah, I was also trying to focus him, even though it was not easy every fight because there was Merrick on Galio that was zoning pretty good, and yeah, but I definitely felt he was not having so much fun in every fight, and I feel a bit sorry for him.
Yeah, I can see that. Like 80 carry in 2020, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it was good they released Samira. We talked about her at the start of the stream. What do you actually think about her?
Honestly, I didn't really had the opportunity to play her until now. I saw a couple of videos on YouTube, and I feel like it's crazy. Like it's definitely overpowered, but
at least 400
we will have to see.
Yeah.
How it will get nerfed before World, I don't know.
Well, she's not gonna be in World, so they can leave it broken.
Yeah, maybe you are right. Yes. Yep.
And neither will Yon actually. But let's also talk about the second game. Like, what do you think? What did you think when you first saw the Karthus, and when he ramped up 3 kills quite early on?
Yeah, I mean, we were quite okay because Kaziko is an Evelyn OTP. Like, he played Evelyn so much times in competitive, and every time he picked her, it was always a success. So we were quite confident since he was farming. He was not bullied like in the first game, you know. And it was, yeah, I mean, Evelyn was big, and Karthus was really, really big. So we were a bit scared, but Cammy was also doing a really good job on the top lane. So we managed. Fortunately, we could manage the poor early game from bot lane, which allowed Karthus to snowball. But yeah, we managed to take it over, and that's really great.
Yeah.
And when do you think was the shifting point? Because obviously, I mean, they were ahead, and by far, with this Karthus being a huge threat for your team. But at some point, I think you must have realized that, hey guys, we can take this actually, and pretty fast. And when do you think was the shifting point, and what did you decide to use it to your advantage?
I mean, I think the deciding point was Cammy reaching 2 items because Ornn couldn't do anything. against her in side lanes. Plus the fact that Akali, so Merok went Ignite on Akali, so they only had one TP. And if Karthus go help Ornn, then we just have free access to objectives. So, I mean, when we realized that Cammy was winning split push really hard over Ornn, we knew they were a bit, blocked by the situation, and we were really confident on the fact that we could win by split pushing actually.
And that manifested by the national trials you did, because
exactly.
they were
We
moving
forced
in their
TP.
own jungle, just doing nothing, and you could just take the inhibitor, but which you did great actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Toby was not only big on that Camille, but he was like huge. He once again was all about Flow Snake, I think, and really made him have a bad time, but also like onto the Karthus, it was of course a really, really big pick. What do you think was in the end like what won you the game, like overall, based on just from your perspective? Or the games?
I mean, the last team fight when we managed to catch Karthus on his walls, like if Karthus get caught at the beginning of the fight, we know we can just snowball on the rest of the team because he's the main source of damage. And Jhin was not in a really good position because there was Evelyn chasing him, and just the fact me as Sylas could really catch him really easy. So when Karthus got caught on wolves, we knew we could end the game pretty fast, and that's what we did actually.
Yeah, you did quite swiftly after that. So thank you very, very much, by the way, for taking the time out of your evening here to respond to our interview. And is there anything else you'd like to let your fans and viewers know, or maybe what your plans are coming into the semifinals?
Yes, I wish good luck to every participant, and I'm thankful to Toby because he carried us really hard today. I wish he will be able to play like this in the future matches, but who knows, maybe he will int like our bot lane, I don't know. So good luck to everyone, and thanks to Swisscom for organizing that. It's really great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And with that, we of course wish you a very pleasant evening, celebrate your victory, and we'll see you next week actually for our semifinals.
Yes. Thank you guys. See you.
All right. See you. Goodbye. That was nice.
Yeah, fantastic.
Excellent first game.
Very humble winner, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
They were confident. They knew their strength, and I really like the fact that they were having fun in these games, because that's what it usually should be about when it comes down. Like, yeah, competitiveness is nice, and getting a win, of course, also is fun. But you still should have fun playing with your mates.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the essence of the point of it.
We also have an update, by the way, I didn't even tell you yet about. In the other pairing of tonight, 7 Blades managed to take down Team Happy Feet, so they are also advancing to the semifinals here. And how that looks when it comes to the bracket, we'll just have a look at. There we can see it. 7 Blades Esports here advancing to the semifinals, as well as Noetic Frost, both beating their opposition here with a 2-0 here. And tomorrow night at 8 PM once again, we'll be back here in our studio, then not with Strawberry Pie actually, but we'll have Chef back on the cast for that evening, when we witness Lostic, who, I gotta be honest, probably has the strongest roster in this season 4 here of the Swisscom Heroleague, against Xamax Esports, also a new name here on the esports parquet, so to speak. And then we also have Lausanne Esports against Fragbox, so a big duel here coming out from the Romandie, who will be looking to get also their spot in the semifinals.
Absolutely. I can't wait for this to happen. So, again, I won't be there tomorrow. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it as much as you can. It will be a brilliant evening. I can't imagine otherwise.
I'm looking forward to it already.
And yes, so I will be back for the semifinals only.
Yes.
And That's gonna be awesome.
And if you want to keep up with all our match days, our semifinals pairings, of course, you should not only tune in tomorrow night here on twitch.tv/ESL Swiss, but also follow us on our social medias, that being at ESL Swiss on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, of course. There you will find any information, and of course also the sign-ups and the chances to participate in future seasons, as we're not that far actually from already concluding season 4 here, and that means season 5 will also not be fast. Yeah, that was it from us, my dear friend Strawberry Pie here, helping me throughout the evening. My name being Don Rigoni, and we wish you guys from the bottom of our heart, have a nice night. See you back tomorrow, and until then, stay happy and healthy.
Yes, goodbye, take care.
Das gute Gefühl, wenn du bereit bist. Schon bereit, immer noch bereit. Bereit. Bereit aufzustehen. Der Mut zusammenzunehmen und
Fest daran zu glauben.
weil heute ist dein Tag.
Mein erster Schultag.
Bereit, sich zu beweisen.
Ich kann das.
Bereit für den nächsten Schritt. Für neue Projekte. Und die Möglichkeiten der vernetzten Welt.
Darum reden wir mit unseren Kunden nicht einfach über Technik, sondern sagen ihnen, was sie davon haben.
Darum sind wir da oben,
Auch in einem Bergdörfli?
mitten drinnen und auch da unten. Damit die Schweiz bereit ist. Damit Sie bereit sind. Bereit fürs Leben.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
La sensation d'être prêt. Déjà prêt, toujours prêt. Prêt? Prêt à se lever, à prendre son courage à deux mains.
Croire dur comme fer.
Aujourd'hui, c'est ton jour.
Mon premier jour d'école.
Prêt à relever le défi.
Ça, j'arrive.
Prêt pour la prochaine étape. Pour de nouveaux projets et pour les possibilités d'un monde connecté.
C'est pour ça qu'avec nos clients, on ne parle pas que de technique. On leur dit aussi ce qu'elle leur apporte.
Parce que nous sommes là-haut,
Jusqu'aux villages les plus reculés,
à tous les niveaux et tout en bas. Pour que la Suisse soit prête. Pour que vous soyez prêts. Prêts pour la vie.
came for the darkest regions, wrapped in a cloak of light. Minus of focus heights, I'm trying to get my opens right. Throw my doubts aside, I climb the mountainside. And when I reach the peak, the view I see will not be flat. Feel the pressure, but it's relative to the man I measure. No time for hesitation, finally time to step up. And when you feel it deep in your bones and it's on your fed up, you're close to the glass ceiling, keep your head up. See your dreams as a goal, that's how I'm seeing mine. Achieve my full potential, let all of the demons pre my shine.
You ready? Huh? Hey, he's a good boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Look into my past and I count the numbers of dreams that I left behind. I don't even care now that I've discovered a new kind of peace of mind. Up above us, looking down on us, there's an angel I know. We don't need to worry or discuss much. It's time for me to hit the road. Take it all or nothing at all. Driving through the night till I'm at your door. Go outside, stay up all night, sleep through the sunrise. Take it all or nothing at all. Driving through the night till I'm at your door. Go outside, stay up all night. And I take it all or nothing at all. Driving through the night till I'm at your door. Go outside, stay up all night, sleep through the sunrise. When